Hello and welcome to the Lily Mercer show finally.
Yes, it's so good to be here.
It's so good to meet you finally because I've been blogging you for at least 3 years,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
I think so.
Since marrying Mereba, so your name is like adapted even.
Yes,
so it's a real honour to be with you finally.
Thank you.
And first of all, congrats on the album. It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's, how do you feel about like like releasing it to the world? Obviously that's a real body of work. So
Yeah.
were you nervous about releasing it?
Yes.
Your debut?
Yes. Very vulnerable project. Very, I make so much music, and I'm very grateful that music is a passion to where I just make it for myself, But to really release something for the people, it's a different feeling. It's like, it's scary, but in a good way. I like how scary it feels, and the reception so far has been so amazing, and this is what I dreamed of, just making something that could resonate with people and make people feel less alone in whatever circumstance they're going through,
That's
So
it's reason to make music.
It's that's all I'm really trying to do here. Like,
and despite, because I mean, you've been making music for years, you're not new to this at all, but do you feel that it's a bit of a fresh start with it being like album status? Like,
yes.
This is the beginning of a whole new era kind of.
It feels like the beginning in a weird way, and I know that like this journey is going to feel like a lot of beginnings, like, oh, this is the first this and the first that, but this one definitely feels like the start of a new era, It's kind of why I dropped my first name too, leading up to this, because it's kind of like cutting your hair. Like, I have this lock, and I started growing it when I was coming out to LA and started working on this project, and I'm about to cut it off, and it's just like the energy of it, I feel like I went through a lot with my full name, and I wanted to have sort of a new beginning, and I lost my father, and my last name means a lot to us in our culture. We have a different naming process, like in Ethiopian culture, so Mereba is actually my grandfather's first name. So you take the first name of your father and you make it your last name. But my father, when he came to America, he didn't do that because that's not how you do things in America. So I just have my grandfather's first name as my last name. And he has a very interesting life story. He was a traveler, he was a wanderer, and he just was kind of an outlier in our family. And I felt like it would be cool to just take that on and just go with it. So in the same sense, like releasing this project feels like a fresh start for me in a way. Yeah.
I'm sorry about your father. I lost my mother the summer just gone, and I was just explaining it to someone recently, and I was like, it's pretty much just like someone just like rolls you in a ball, and then you get up, and then they roll you again, and or they pick you up and turn you upside down, and then it's like each chapter is such a stage. So I can't imagine like coming back to making music after that.
Yeah, grief is the weirdest feeling. It's not a linear feeling, It comes in waves. Like sometimes you're fine and you're just living your life, and then it hits you, and you're like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta process this, But it also really inspired this project. Like, grief really inspired this project. And also feeling like I have to do something to dig me out of this feeling. You know what I mean? It was healing for me to make the project. And also he wanted me to do well, he believed in me a lot. So it was further affirmation to get my shit together and get a project out,
Well, no, congrats to you, because that's like not an easy feat at all. Like, I mean, I'd like literally barely could, go outside after it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too. I know the feeling, like it's not easy.
But it's interesting you saying that, because the project doesn't sound sad. It sounds quite like it's like actually more about life than about death. You feel like invigorated by it. So it's interesting that was what inspired it.
Well, I was already in the process of making it when he passed, so it wasn't like it was all informed by that. I think it was more just getting it out, getting it together, finishing things. I'm a great starter of songs, but finishing things and pushing them out into the world is different. That's what inspired me more, was like through the grief of it, just kind of having something that I'm working towards to keep me distracted. You know what I mean? And it ended up being a good distraction.
It's amazing. I mean, that's very powerful project as well, to have all of that experience within it as well. So I wanted to ask you, going back forward, when did you realize that you were in love with music? When was the first moment where you
Oh my gosh, it was so early that I don't remember. Like, my mom said when I was in the car seat, she knew. I was really finicky. I needed music on, and I needed certain songs on in the car. I was obsessed with Whitney Houston's voice. I don't know what it was, but my mom loved Whitney Houston, and she said I would start crying when, if she paused it, my eyes would well up, and then she would play it again, and I would be good again. So I've just always been, I don't know what it is, I don't know what what my last lives were like, but it just was from a really young age. And I wasn't really interested in anything else. That was the thing. I was a very apathetic child otherwise. I was like, man, whatever. I just want to do this. I just love music. I love singing. I love dancing. You know, I got on my whole family's nerves. I wasn't that good at it. When I was little, I just was doing it, you know. But I can't even remember. Honestly, I can't remember when I fell in love with music.
And when did you realise that was it, career-wise? Like, there was nothing else for you?
I guess there were two phases of it. Like, as a child, I was like, there's nothing else. This is what I'm going to do. But then actually getting into, like, the music business and like, industry, probably after I finished college. And at that time, everyone's like, okay, what are you going to do now? You know, what are you going to do with your life? And everyone already knew. I don't even know why they were asking me, but it was just like, it's one thing to have that dream, and it's another to really, like, work through the music industry to, like, make it real, you know, and make it your profession. So I feel like it was probably, like, when I graduated school, I decided to just dive into it, for better or for worse. And it was a struggle, you know, and there were a lot of hurdles to cross. And, yeah, but it never really felt like a choice. It felt like it was just given to me, and that was it. And there was no choice. So it was just like, every time I would be like, man, this shit's really frustrating, or like, oh, like I'm watching my friends live their lives, do their things, and it's so much easier for them. Like, I gotta struggle, and they're just, you know what I mean, doing their, like, working thing and living their life in a more structured way, and I have no idea how mine's gonna go, you know? But it never felt like a choice. Like, I just felt like I had to do it, you know?
And with you, because you're, like, born and raised in Atlanta, right? Before you moved to LA?
And not born, no. I moved around growing up. I was born in Alabama, which is close. But we lived in Philly growing up, and then we moved to North Carolina, and then I moved to Atlanta. So kind of like up and down the East Coast. My parents just were kind of Rolling Stones a little bit. They're not Rolling Stones in like a crazy way. They were teachers, but like they were just down to move whenever one of them got a job somewhere else. They would just move, and I didn't like it growing up. You know, I'd always be really sad to leave wherever we were at, but I have to say it definitely made me the type of artist that I am. It made my style very eclectic, because like when I was in North Carolina, I got really into folk music and like country roots blues type music, and that's like very in my sound. When I was in Philly, it was all rap music all day, like mixtape, like J.I.D, like Freeway, The Roots, just heavy lyricism, rap music. And when I was in Atlanta, it was just like everything. Atlanta's just, you know, what we hear from Atlanta is a more specific thing, what the world hears, but like what I know from the scene in Atlanta, it's so eclectic, and there's just so many artists doing so many different types of experimental things. So every place that I've lived has informed my art, you know? So I'm grateful. My mom used to say that too when I would complain about it. She's like, you're gonna be happy one day that you have this type of life, you know? And I am. Yeah.
I can see that, because I was going to ask you about that, because, you know, to Atlanta, like you say, the rest of the world just sees trap music, and obviously, don't get me wrong, trap is incredible,
yeah.
But there's a lot more behind it, and especially, like, I mean, historically as well, if you look at the whole Dungeon Family movement, it's not always been about trap, as much as that led to Future. So that's, as someone who is from Atlanta like that, do you sometimes feel like not enough credit is given to the external sounds?
For sure, you know, I think it's like, it makes sense, you know, you can't blame people, because that's like just a commercial thing that's being pumped out, and that's what you know. I don't expect everybody to dig like deep into what a city is doing, like on the fringes. But I do think that there are some artists who are changing that narrative. You know what I mean? Who are coming out from Atlanta who aren't making trap music, you know, and who are making music that is more reminiscent of the Dungeon Family era, and just like that experimental, eclectic, like, just new age blackness, you know, and I feel like even some of the trap artists are that too, you know. I think about Young Thug, and I'm like, he's like a mix between that, because he's very eclectic for trap music, and so I just feel like it's a really interesting merge right now of like the kids like me who got like Ableton or Logic or whatever, and like started making beats, and all of us do have this influence of trap in one way or another, like. Even I do, like, I'm influenced by it as well, you know, and just that, like, singing mixed with rapping, mixed with whatever, like, just the kind of weirdness that comes from that style of music, like, I feel like we're all influenced by that, but yeah, I mean, I would love to shine a light on the other side of Atlanta more, and be a part of that group of people that are shining a light on it, you know.
Personally, I think you are, so I think it's fine, because I was listening to the project, and it's funny because when you just said about folk and country influences, I was listening to it and I was like, I wonder if you're going to be like, you're crazy, but I had someone who is a legend, and I was like, I hear Dolly Parton. And that's a great thing. I love, like, Dolly's my queen. So but that's something that you would never expect to hear maybe an artist from your kind of city necessarily taking inspiration from people like Dolly Parton.
Yeah, so. I was so it's funny, I was just watching the Grammys with my roommate, and she was like, and Dolly had like they honored her, and my roommate was kind of like, this is when I'm going to go to the bathroom and do whatever. Like, she, not like no shade, but she was just kind of like, I'm not connected to this. And I was like, I'm connected to this, like, just because. So I said I was obsessed with Whitney Houston. Dolly Parton wrote "I'll Always Love You," and I remember, this is before I even understood what writing a song was or whatever. But I remember my mom played me Dolly Parton's version, and of course I was like, turn this off. Like, as a kid, I was like, where's Whitney? But that was the first time I processed what writing a song was, and how you could write a song and somebody else could sing it, and that person might make the song really big. But like, I guess the heart of like being a songwriter. And Dolly Parton was one of the first women that I remember like hearing and processing, like, she used a pencil and like wrote this song, and it inspired me to like sit and write a song. Before that, I just was concerned with singing, and I would just sing everyone's songs that already existed. But that like planted a seed. It was her and like Stevie Nicks. Like, those are two people that I feel like really inspired my pen, and just sitting at an instrument and writing a song, and it's not about your voice being the most like powerful, crazy, big voice. It's just like telling your story, So that's funny that you hear that. I definitely was inspired by Dolly Parton. Definitely.
I can hear Stevie Nicks too now you said it. And also both women that run, they kind of dominate in a masculine world, I'd say, which I feel that you are very capable of doing as well. So, and even because I love, I can't remember, it's on one of your songs on the album. I was going to say Planet You, but it's not. You say something about having being flawless without your face beat, and I made this beat.
Oh yeah, it's Planet You,
Is it Planet You? So that is just beautiful, because I was listening to it and I'm like, as a woman, I'm like, see, you can make the beat, you can write it, you can sing it, and you kill it. And that's the thing where, like, do you ever feel a bit almost like, not offended, but when people try and give you beats, you kind of like, listen, I got this, babe. Like, I don't need your beats.
I had to grow out of it a little bit, because I realized it was a little ego driven, because sometimes people will send you stuff that's really dope, But I try to make it pretty clear, like, I produce my own shit, like, I support your creativity, but I'm very specific about my sound, and you can't just like send me like a type beat, like a so-and-so type beat, like, that's just not my thing, Most of my stuff I start just like me on an instrument, and I don't really build songs like that, like just writing to beats. I'm not against it. I'm starting to realize that it's cool if you don't have the time, like, to make. It's cool to just, like, if I'm here, I'm just walking around the streets in London, it's kind of cool to just have someone's beats to just listen to and write to, But yeah, I used to get really offended, like, y'all don't know how fire I am as a producer, you know what I mean? Stop sending me shit. But now I'm like, okay, everybody people who are creative just want to try it. They just want to see if you like it. They just want to see what you could do with it, And one of my favorite songs from this project, called Stay True, it's somebody else's beat that it already existed on the instrumental project that he had, and I was like, like, I heard it, and I was like, as soon as I heard it, I started writing the song, and I didn't even ask him. I just kept playing it on SoundCloud. When it ended, I would rewind it and start it again, and in like 20-30 minutes, I had written the whole song, and I texted him like, I wrote a song to your song, can I have it? He's like, I'm really attached to that one, actually, and I was like, no, you don't understand. I need it. And he was like, okay, let me hear what you did, and I actually downloaded it illegally off SoundCloud, off some app. So I was like, if he just hears it, he'll understand, he'll give it to me if he just hears it. And so, like, within an hour, I sent him the demo of it, and he was like, okay, you can have it. And I was like, okay. So, great things can come out of collaboration. So I try not to limit myself too much, but yeah, I'm definitely like, but I make my own shit.
Also, you've got to be a king ninth wonder, which I don't need a ninth wonder.
Exactly. You can't block your blessings. Yeah.
But I do love. In terms of collaboration, like, I love that on the project you got Black and J.I.D, who are people that I've known of you because of them. Yeah. And the fact that you've got like J.I.D is singing, and then you've got Black rapping, which is how I first heard of him. But I think it's like, it's such a great thing that you've almost got doing what people aren't used to hearing him do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
Yeah, I mean, I love singing with J.I.D. Like I love that space that we both give each other to do that. Like we jokingly say we're Marvin and Tammy, but I'm Marvin because he made the beat. So, but it's this is a weird thing. Like we both rap. He's obviously he's one of the best rappers in the world. And I learned a lot about rapping from him. From all of them, it just strengthens my rap skills so much because I'm I can't be whack. I can't be whack around him. I can't be whack with Earth Gang. I can't be whack with Black. My pen has to be on point, But when it comes to singing, it's just a space for us to get vulnerable, and we're really friends, and we know about each other's personal lives and stuff. So when we get together, we just write about what's really going on, and it ends up being these R&B songs these duets, that I couldn't have predicted would happen from a rapping ass dude like him, But and then with Black, he could just do anything. He could do whatever. Whatever he feels, you just don't give him direction. You just send it to him and let him do whatever he's gonna do.
This is why I love, I just love that you guys all just came across each other and, I guess when you were teenagers or something. So
in Atlanta, yeah.
But that's why I feel, I personally think that, so just in case anyone doesn't know, Spillage Village is this lovely lady, it's J.I.D, it's Earth Gang, Black is part of it too, right? So at some point in the future, I know that there's going to be this oh my god, Spillage Village, what's that? And it's been going for years, so I'm really proud to see, I'm happy to see you here, and I'm proud to see what all of you guys are and getting the recognition that true musicians deserve. So thank you for coming, and thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much.
Should talk to you all day, but everyone else is curious, so thank you very much.